So I did some figuring out, did some math, and I'm going to show you what the next step here is going to be. So essentially, according to my plan here, again, so I can get some light on it. So right now I've got this piece figured out. But now I need to figure out how much more additionally I need on the bottom. So I know that I need 39 inches to between this and the little spot where the controls are going to be going, and then 3 inches for that, so a total of 42 inches. So I measured this out, and from the bottom of this to where that angle ends is 17 inches. So that means I need 25 inches roughly. So I need about 25 inches off the other boards, so what I'm going to do is take these, move them out of the way, grab the other boards, bring them over here, and then I'm going to cut those to 25 inches. Now, those are 4-inch or 4-foot boards. If I was lucky, I would have been able to cut them to. Actually, you know what? I'm only going to use one of them. So I'm going to save a little time and money here. So instead of using, cutting 25 inches off one of those, I'm just going to drop it to 24. Because realistically, I'm not losing a whole lot of height for that. I'm not that tall of a guy anyway. So 24 inches compared to 25 inches, additional lift on this will actually probably be exactly where I want it to be. So we'll give that a shot and see how it works out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of those boards and basically just cut it in half, because right now it is currently a 48-inch board. So I'm going to cut down 24 and 24, split the difference, and we're good. So to do that, I'm actually just going to use the table saw. All right, so got the old table saw, and what I want to do is make sure one more time I got the length I think I need, or that I have the length I think I have. So yeah, right about 48's about a quarter, a little less than a quarter, less than I expected, which is fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark a line halfway down this board, or in the center of the board, and then I'm going to cut it. But for that, I need my pencil, which is over yonder. Pencil. And then I need to make some marks. So, pretty easy to find the center of a board. Nothing too complicated here. Basically, I know it's 48. So, what I'm going to do is split that in half. That's 24. And since I'm missing about a quarter of an inch, it's a little less than a quarter of an inch, so I'll bias it off to the side when I do my cut. But it's going to be 48 inches, so 24, and then take a quarter and split that in half and add that on to my measurements. So 24 and an eighth is what I'm going to look at for how I'm going to do the measurements. So let's make my measurement 24 and an eighth. And then I can check that, because when I measured, I should have the same on both sides. I think I did that backwards. I think I need 23 and 7/8. Yep, did it backwards. 23 and 7/8. My logic is a little bit off there. So 23 and 7/8 is where I want to be. And again, quick check, measure it this way. If you get the same number when you measure it both ways, then you're on. Yep. And I'm actually going to go, and like I said, I'm going to bias it off to the left side, because that'll give me, it'll give me a more even cut between the two. And again, after I get done with this, I could always just take my thingamaroo, what's it called, that thing, my planer. And I can take my planer and I can just make it, I can just, level the sides, but I probably won't need to do that. I'll probably be pretty close. Close enough that, it won't really matter. So, using my wood board here, I'm going to line up one edge of this, make sure we're even with the line, and then I'm going to make sure that my board is square. And then I'm going to make the same cut. Yep, that's good. Draw a line all the way down. There we go. Now, when you've been using a table saw as much as I have, as long as I have, it's only about 4 or 5 years. You get pretty good at freehanding things. So something like this, I'm not really afraid to freehand. I've done it enough times that it doesn't really bother me, and I'm doing pretty good at it. So I am still going to wear the same safety equipment. So that'll be safety goggles and dust mask. So I've got to find my dust mask, which I lost my dust mask. There, found it. Found it, everybody. Everything's fine. Everything's great. Oh, man. It's freaking hot. Okay. And, of course, I need to plug in the old table saw, which I'm about positive is turned off. Because I wouldn't leave it turned on. Would I? Well, I wouldn't. The blade goes down anyway, so it wouldn't make a difference. So, good rule of thumb when you're using a table saw, only raise the saw slightly more than you actually need. That way you're not getting a giant bite of things. And when you do it that way, you have less of a chance of the top of the saw cutting in on angles and grabbing the board and doing all kinds of weird stuff. So, that being said, let's get to cutting. What I'm going to do now is take my two pieces and I'm going to square them up. I think I have this backwards. There we go. That makes more sense. Do I have this turned around? I think I do. Yeah, that'll be the right side. Okay. Alright, so what I'm going to end up doing, why does this thing I don't know how the hell I managed to get these boards in completely different, oh, maybe it's because they're not quite right. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is take the planer to it, because I've definitely got some kind of a weird thing going on with the edges. So I'm going to take the planer to it, and I'm going to make sure that all the edges are equal. And we'll see. The good news is, the way I cut this, smart, maybe not. No, I'm fine. It'll be alright. So I ended up with a little less than I expected, which is fine. Because I'm really going to end up with, no, actually, well, 23.5. So yeah, I'm losing about a half an inch. So an inch and a half is what I lost altogether. So that's not bad. I saved myself $12, so that's good news. And I'm not even really going to notice the fact that it's a little bit different. I mean, I don't know. Or a little bit shorter than I planned on. Really, all the measurements I came up with were just kind of from watching, or kind of looking at somebody I know. They have an arcade cabinet. I was looking at their controls, and you know the height they sat at, and I was like, all right, I like where these are at, so I'll just try to put mine at about the same height. And his is actually sitting on cinder blocks, so that one is clearly not perfect either. This time I'm going to clamp this to the table so I don't have to keep a hand on the darn thing. So I don't have to keep a hand on it when I'm trying to plane it. I might take larger bites off initially this time because that side's good, that side's good, that side's good, so there we go. So I'll see where we end up on the squareometer. Measure off how big this is total now. Should be 24 by like 23 and a half or so. So I got 24 inches that way, and yeah, about 23 3/4 this way. So not bad. We're good. There we go. So now I'm going to go ahead and put this on the floor, just so you can get an idea of how, well, I'm basically going to lay it out the way I'm going to have it standing up. So I need to do some, I'm not going to glue the pieces together. What I'm actually going to do is use some boards. So I'm going to take these boards and glue a piece of pine to the sides, well not to the sides of them, well yeah, to the sides of them. So I'm going to glue them together that way. That way they're attached with those as kind of rails, and then I'm going to use those as what I'm going to screw the back onto, because the back is going to be my my greatest challenge. Not really, it's not even my greatest challenge at all. The back is going to be how I'm going to, you know, I want it to be able to be unscrewed, taken apart, so if something happens, I can move. I can kind of flat pack it if I wanted to. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is lay out all the pieces on the floor here and give you an idea of how this is going to look. And maybe I'll lay down on the floor so you can also see how I'm going to look. So this is one side. I know there's like a gap there, but that's because the floor is not even. So there it is. So it's going to look like that. And I guess if I were to lay down next to it. So if I were standing up next to this thing, I would be right about here with the controls. So I can kind of lean down on it. I'm also probably going to put some feet on it, so that'll give it a little extra height as well. The extra inch I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, but this way I'm looking into it, I'm not looking up at it or down. Good for my height. Okay, so that being said, I gotta go grab some pine from the back of my yard, and then I can start putting that on in the way that I want to do it so that I can connect this all together. So I'll see you on the next little part here. For now, that's all I'm going to do for this episode. Now that I think about it, I think I've made enough progress, although I haven't really done that much work. So in truth, putting these things together isn't that bad. Building it from scratch probably won't be that bad. This is kind of like the unfun part, is the construction part. The wiring part and the programming part I like the most, but that takes, because I can do inside and air conditioning. This is kind of a pain to dig. But plan is, yeah, get all this put together, get it dry fit, and then I'll end up putting it together in one room inside the air conditioning, and life will be better. But for now, gotta get the parts together. So I'll see you on the next one, where I go ahead and glue the rails onto this that I'm going to use to kind of hold the whole thing together. So see you next time. Oh, by the way, like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of stuff, because that's how I know to keep doing it. So again, see you next time.